Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another lovely little episode of Liv's Thoughts. And just like in last episode, I told y'all we're going to be getting a little bit deeper today, and that is in fact true because we're going to be talking about addiction. And I'm sorry to ruin your beautiful cookie cutter image of me, but your girl struggles with it. Thank the genetic gods for passing down the super addictive personality gene in my family. I love it. I love it so much. I love it. And I'm so sorry to be woke as fuck right now, but I need to put this in here just because I'm not trying to be in charge of someone's relapse. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Eating disorder, self-harm, addiction, marijuana, mental illness, alcoholism. Like, I don't know. A trigger warning for anything, I guess. Trigger warning for this fucking video. We're going to get a little personal. Y'all are going to learn a little bit more about me today. Nothing that I'm uncomfortable with sharing, of course, but we're just going to get a little deeper today and talk about kind of my history with addiction and where I'm at now because I'm 3 days sober, y'all. 3 days. Let's go. It's only been 3 days. It's only been 3 days. It's only been 3 days. But it's been 3 days, so I can be proud of that. Let's talk about early Liv, 8th grade Liv. In middle school, I unfortunately started self-harming because I went through some stuff in the family, of course, and that was just my first reaction to it was to go a little crazy cuckoo. And one thing I remember, like very vividly remember, is the feeling I got after the fact. Like after I did it, I really loved the feeling. Like it was like very weird. It was a weird, like I felt confused why I liked the feeling so much. And so it all started in like 8th grade, getting very hyper fixated, I'll say, not necessarily addicted, but very, very hyper fixated on this certain dopamine kick I would get in my brain, especially when I was doing things that were bad for me, but felt so good. Like it was a very weird dichotomy between how bad the thing was versus how good it felt. And from a very young age, I don't really know why, I have always I had this mindset when I was younger, I'm going to do every drug out there. Like I want to try everything once. That's not going to happen, by the way. But I was set on that. Like ever since I was a kid, I would say, like I can probably ask my parents if they remember me saying this and they would say yes and not to do so. But I was like, yeah, I'm just going to try everything once. Why not? You only live once. That isn't happening. So I've been like really hyper fixated on drugs my whole life, like very like curious about drugs. It's very strange. Then got on some medication because your girl was making threats about and ending up in a grave. So my parents put me on medication, obviously, because I went to the doctor, got better, I was fine. Then 10th grade came around, something really bad happened to me in school. The whole school knew about it, and I was getting bullied like a motherfucker. Bullied. There was a month where I went to school 6 out of the... I forget how many days of the month we went to school, but I went to school only 6 days out of the whole entire month because it was genuinely getting so incredibly bad at, with the bullying. And during this time was the first time I started self-harming again. And it was like self-harming a little bit worse this time, but I got very addicted to the feeling again, like hyper fixated on this feeling I would get after the fact. Then, what happened next? Oh, this went on until summertime. This was like fall to summer. And summer came around. I was like, I can't wear long sleeves all summer long. I have to wear bathing suits. So what can I do instead? Eating disorder. I got so hyperfixated on my body and what I was eating and started to lose a bunch of weight and started to take laxatives. And the laxatives were my first kind of abuse with a substance. And I am still dealing with the repercussions because I used laxatives for an entire year without telling anyone and went kind of crazy, buck wild on my gut and really, really messed up some gut internal issues. So I think my eating disorder was a big like kickstart for me with feeling this sense of control, but also very, very, very out of control of what I was doing. Sorry, I'm looking for a cap for this thing. For my glue. I need to put a cap on this. And it was a very weird feeling. Like, I felt like I had so much control over my life and like what I was doing, what I was eating, but I was also so out of control because I was thinking about food, no joke, before when I woke up in the morning, when I went to sleep. Like, I remember one day crying so bad because my stomach hurt so bad in the morning. Like, it was so awful. And then when I ate something, it just got 10 times worse, and I was like, I'm dying. I don't know what's happening, but I'm like literally dying right now. Was not dying. And so I'm still dealing with the repercussions of getting an eating disorder in high school, and it's been something that has literally been a struggle probably till this past year. I feel like I have a lot better of a grasp on it now. But then senior year came along and COVID happened. And if y'all remember the beginning of COVID, especially for school, you did not have to go to school because the teachers didn't know if you had internet. So I didn't go to school. Like, we literally from March onward, like, I didn't finish my senior year at all. Didn't have to take exams. I'm sure that's a very similar experience to a lot of people. But my friends and I would start drinking, especially my boyfriend, because my boyfriend at the time was a big beer drinker, and we would get on, and his mom would buy him alcohol. Like, that was like, his parents did not care that he was drinking. What happened to my nail? My nail fell off already. I don't know where I went. But my boyfriend was a big drinker, so I was like, I have to be a drinker. Like, I have to get into it. Like, I just love it. So we started drinking on FaceTime, like with all of our friends, and playing like games on FaceTime. But then it started happening not when we were on FaceTime. And then it started happening in the daytime. And then it got like a little bit too much. And I am notoriously known, like, ask any of my friends that went out partying with me, I black out anytime I drink. Like, even to this day, I have a very hard time controlling how much I'm drinking, and I go balls to the wall. Like, it is a substance issue. Like, I don't know when to stop. And there are plenty of pictures of me just passed out in the dunes because I drank too much. They had to drag me fucking out to the car. And there was one point during COVID where I went on a 13-day bender. 13 days. There was one time I showed up to the place that we would all party at where there was only 5 people. And I was one of them. Like, it was embarrassing as fuck. I was a fiend for fucking, like, partying and getting drunk. I just wanted to do it all the time. Then I found weed. I knew, like, I started smoking in high school. My friends and I, my friend and I got a pen to share, and we were kind of just like passing it back and forth with each other, like, throughout the week. And whenever I would have it, I would smoke every day, like, regardless of what I was doing, I would be smoking. And she would just not do it. And I was like, how do you not smoke? Like, when you have it, how do you just like not hit it? I don't get how you do that. She's like, I don't know. I just don't want to be high. But I just like wanted to not be sober. Like, it was a want to not be sober. And I think this leads into like my addiction, like my hyperfixation on drugs when I was little. This idea of not being sober sounded so fun to me. So I really started smoking for real. Like, that summer I really started smoking for real. I had my own pen. I was hitting that thing, not all day, but half of the day at least, every day. Then went to college for a whole 12 days. This is still in 2020. Dropped out because it was too much. I didn't want to be in college, and I got COVID. That's a whole other story in and of itself. Went to college for 12 days, dropped out. When I was home before I moved to LA, I was home for 3 months working. I was stoned. Like, I genuinely don't remember any period of that part of my life because I was just genuinely stoned the entire fucking time. I smoked all day, every day. When I woke up, when I was at work, did not matter. Then I moved to LA, had no access to weed or alcohol, so I stopped. And I was like on this like sober little kick for a little bit. It was really great. I was doing really well in the gym. I was losing a lot of weight. It was awesome. And then my roommate, because I was living in an Airbnb for my first month in LA, and I moved in with 4 girls, and one of the girls was 5 years older than all of us. And she brought me, she's like a party. She's like a groupie ass bitch. She still is in LA. She still is a groupie ass bitch. I genuinely hate this girl. I don't hate a lot of people in life, but this girl, she is actually terrible. She took me to my first party, and the people there were encouraging. I'll say not forcing, but encouraging me to, put that thing up my nose. And I did it. And I loved to party. I loved to party. One thing I didn't ever really mess with was blow that much. Like, I never really got into, I've done it 3 times probably in my life, and that is plenty for me. I don't think I'll continue to ever do that. But this party really kicked off my party lifestyle in LA, and I fell into it. And then I started, when there wasn't a party, drinking in my room. Then I started blacking out to go do things, not in the daytime, but at night. I would black out. It was really, really bad. So there was a portion where I was going ham, going crazy, enjoying life, and then something very bad happened, and I stopped drinking. It swerved me away from drinking. I stopped drinking completely, got back into weed, and from that day, genuinely it was someday in June. No, not June. Someday in April. Wait. What's the month before June? April, May, June, May. Something. It was in May. From May on, I became a stoner, a legit stoner for real. And I started smoking again all day, every day. When I would go to bed, my pen was right next to me, because every time I'd wake up in the middle of the night, I was hitting that thing, hitting it. And I didn't stop for 4 years. The longest break I took was a month, a year and a half ago. And that was about it. I've tried to quit a few times, and I've gone maybe a week and a half. But besides that, I have been smoking for 4 years straight. And I was spending so much fucking money on weed. And this is the part where you're like, weed's not addictive. Weed's not. When you are spending your last dimes to get high, bitch, yeah, that's an addiction. I was scrounging around in my car, bare hands and knees, scrounging around in my car looking for coins. I took my entire coin jar to the store to get money so I could go buy weed. There has been multiple times. It's so fucking embarrassing to even say, but I would sell stuff to get money to buy weed, sell my valuable things so I would have money to go buy weed. And I just couldn't stand being it's not that I couldn't stand being sober. I just didn't want to be sober. And it wasn't because I was trying to cover shit up. It was just because I was bored when I was sober. I was just bored. But being high made me such a lazy human being. It's insane. Up until January fucking 1st, and when I was whenever I go home, I don't smoke all day every day when I'm at home, because it's a different story. But I've not, I'm struggling, guys. It's really, really fucking hard. It's so hard. And it's not hard in the way that I'm no, it is. I'm fucking itching for fucking weed. Look at this, bitch. Just so I didn't go out and buy fucking weed, I went and bought cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I needed to smoke something. I need, and this is, don't worry guys, I'm definitely will not be getting addicted to cigarettes, because my dad is a lung doctor and I have such a negative connotation to cigarettes. I think they're the fucking devil, even though I smoke fucking weed every day. But these things are, I took 3 puffs of it and I said, that's good. I'm just gonna put this out now, and start throwing up. But yeah, I needed something, and I'm I needed to stop myself, and I said, I can never make it past 3 days. 3 days is always my tipping point. So I made a solution, and I went and bought cigarettes. So anytime I need to smoke, I'm going to smoke a fucking cigarette, and that will be it. And I know replacing one bad thing with another is not a good idea, but shut up. I don't care. I literally don't need your opinion right now. But let's talk about my plan for quitting, and maybe some help for you guys if anyone out there is struggling with addiction, because it's an embarrassing thing. it's uncomfortable, it's embarrassing, and it's really, really difficult to talk about, especially with the people near you, because as many times as I've tried to explain to my friends that I'm actively dealing with addiction, they don't believe me because it's fucking weed. And I'm like, no, I ran myself fucking dry of money every week. Like, I could have had thousands of dollars saved up at this point, but I decided to spend $50 a week on weed. At my highest, okay, double entendre there, but at my worst point and peak consumption, I could go through a cart in 3 days, a gram cart in 3 days. I could smoke an eighth in like a day and a half. That was a piece of fucking cake for me. So I was spending a lot of money on weed, like a lot of money on weed, a lot of money on weed, a lot of fucking money on weed. And it's just embarrassing. Like, it's honestly just kind of fucking embarrassing. It's okay though. It's okay. We all have our low points in life. And that was mine. So yeah, I've made myself broke plenty of times. I've made myself in debt to people plenty of times because I wanted to smoke. And that's the issue with the whole, like, not calling weed an addiction thing. When it is actually detrimental to your life and your everyday function, it is an addiction, and we need to treat it as such. What is my plan moving forward? Number one, trying my hardest and actually putting effort into it, because this is a fight every day. And I know that I'm not getting weaned off of fucking crack or heroin or like alcohol, because I know alcohol is extremely difficult to quit. Like, if you're drinking every day, all day, every day when you're waking up and shit, that's a beast in and of itself. Every addiction is a beast in and of itself. But still, I've noticed that when I don't put effort into it, there's no results. Obviously, this is like to everything in life. When you're not ever putting effort into it, you're not going to get anything out of it. But this time I'm willing to really try my hardest, because this is such a opportunity for change for me. And I see that, and I recognize that, and I see the growth that I could have in my life if I stop. Like, I see the future I can have if I'm able to get this shit under control, because right now I have no control over it. I don't have self-discipline when it comes to my vices, and I want to get better at that, because I don't want to stop smoking weed for the rest of my life. Like, I really enjoy that, like, not the act, I enjoy the act of smoking, but like, I really enjoy being high with my friends. It is such a blast. Like, to go to the movies high as fuck is such a fucking fun activity, and I don't want to have to, like, give up weed completely in my life, but I do need to have a better control of that. And I need to prove to myself and reach my goals sober before I can introduce it back into my life. And I recognize that. And I recognize that I can't even be drinking alcohol. Like, I need to quit. And this is the 3 puffs of this is the vice now. That's what it is. Working out and 3 puffs of a cigarette is my vice right now. And so, yeah, I need to stop saying so much also in the year 2025. That's the goal. I need to stop. But if you yourself are struggling with addiction and you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to, or like your friends maybe aren't taking you seriously, whatever, please reach out in my DMs. I literally check my Instagram DMs, my my requests and stuff, like damn near every day. So if you need to reach out and you need someone to talk to, I'm all ears, girl, boy, person. I don't know who you are, but I'm all ears. If you need someone to talk to, please don't be afraid to reach out. Obviously, if all of my subscribers reached out to me, that would be a little bit insane. But I can try to help as much as I can, and I can try to offer support, because I feel like I have not had support, and I have not to say like my friends haven't been supportive, because now that I'm actually quitting, they are, but we'll see how long that lasts. Like, it sucks to say that they don't believe in me, but I feel like my friends don't believe in me because I've tried so many fucking times. Like, being addicted to something is not easy, but I know cutting it out cold turkey is always the best option. I have quit vaping before. Like, I vaped for 5 years and quit cold turkey, and that was hard for like 2 days, and then it was fine. And so I know with weed, it's going to be very similar. Like, the first week is going to suck, and my dreams have been scary as fuck. My cold sweats at night have been god awful, but I know that the result and like the what I need to do, and I know that I need to just push through a little bit longer because it's going to get easier as we go. And always remind yourself that the longer you stay on the wrong train, the more expensive it is to get home, the harder it is to get to where you want to be. So remind yourself when you want to pick up that vice, when you want to pick up that addiction, that if I'm going to get back on this long ass train, be prepared to pay for another day of it. You know, like you need to be prepared to, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Relapsing is really hard too, because I have relapsed several times with my eating disorder, with my fucking weed, with my alcohol issues. I just have substance abuse. I just abuse substances. I don't take them as like, let's go have fun. I take it as a let's fucking party. Let's go fucking balls to the wall. If you're not getting blackout, what's the point? And that's what and for calorie purposes, I low-key still agree with that. And I know it's like disgusting to say, but like if I'm drinking, bitch, I'm getting drunk. Like we are going crazy. I'm not going to just drink these empty ass calories for nothing. Like if we're drinking, we're going crazy. And I need to get out of that mindset. I need to grow up a little bit. It's such like a child mindset, I feel like, and such like a kid kind of way to see drugs and partying and alcohol. But no, you're not alone. And even if your addiction is small, even if your addiction is your addiction to your phone, which we are all addicted to our fucking phones, let's be so for real, know that getting help is possible. And like, it has to be up to you though. Like you have to be the one to want to fix it. And I hate to say like, no one's going to hold your hand, but for most things, y'all, like that's one thing I've really realized as an adult is no one's going to hold your hand while you do anything as an adult, because guess what? That person's also going through it. They can't hold your hand while they're struggling like themselves. So everyone in life is going through something. And so you really cannot depend, like you can depend on your friends for support and have a good support system 100% and people that are encouraging you. But unless you're like paying money for rehab or like whatever, it's very, very difficult to have someone be having someone holding your hand while you are trying to quit. So you need to make sure this is something that you really, 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 really want. And you are reminding yourself every day why you are quitting. You are reminding yourself every fucking time you look in the mirror that you are more than your addiction and that is not it all to life. And I know that weed addiction is like very minute again. And I feel like such an imposter talking about addiction, but it's such like, I didn't even talk about this yet. And I forgot this to fucking put this in there. I was also low-key, I just am addicted to drugs. Like I love drugs. I was tripping on shrooms. Like this past year, I tripped on shrooms probably 16 or 17 times in less than a year, from January to August. Yeah, I went ham. Anytime I was bored, I would just trip on shrooms. Like, yeah, I had free access to them, so I would just go fucking crazy with it. And it's a very dangerous way to live, is when especially when you're getting shit for free, dude. Like, that's a whole, you feel like you need to do it because it was free. But yeah, I hope that y'all don't judge me for calling weed an addiction, please. Please don't judge me for that, because this has been genuinely such a challenge for me. And I know that it is not comparative to quitting drinking every single day, all day, every day, or comparative to shooting up heroin or crack. But dude, there is not a competition for struggle. And if we can relate that things are hard and we can work together to get through them, I think that would be more awesome and a better community building. Sue me. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go to my friend's house. Go say hi and have a good time. Oh, Theo has his tongue out. Look at Theo. Tongue out, Theo. Tongue out, Theo. Cutie. All right. Peace, love, and happiness. I love you all. Bye.